Hello Shenanigamers, and welcome back to Darkest Dungeon. This is a very, very special episode because this is episode 100. It is amazing that the series has gotten to this point. So, to celebrate that, let's go on a long quest. It's been a long time since we've done that. I can't think of a better time, so let's go for it. We have 3 long quests available here. And whether it be champion, veteran, or apprentice, we have the gold to provision for whatever we may need. So, let's see what we got here. All 3 of these long quests here are exterminate quests, so we would have to complete 100% of them battles. This one in the Warrens, we would get 1,500 gold, well, 15,000 gold rather. We would get 15,000 gold, 18 deeds, and the Ancestor's Pen. Plus 8% crit, and plus 10% damage on melee skills, plus 10% stress. That's not bad. On this one, we would get 11,250 gold, 6 busts, and an ethereal crucifix. Plus 25% damage versus Eldritch, plus 30% bleed resist, minus 20% max HP. Well, that's pretty good, potentially. And then that's for that one in the Wield. This one here in the Wield, and then for this one here in the Cove, you would get 15,000 gold, 18 deeds, and the Ancestor's Portrait. Or an Ancestor's Portrait. Plus 50% Resolve XP, plus 10% stress. I think the Ancestor's Pen would probably be better for us. Considering that there are still a few bosses at lower levels, and we still haven't entered into the Crimson Court, in the courtyard, or to the farmstead, which still require apprentice level heroes to interact with, or to go on those quests, rather, we need heroes at lower levels. So I think the Ancestor's Portrait can wait, and the Ethereal Crucifix, we're likely to see more of those in future, so I'm not too concerned about those at the moment. So let's go to the Warrens this time around. That's where we'll go for our episode 100, is to the Warrens. Take you guys into the sewers, of course. We always take you to the nicest places. Alright, so, who are we going to bring with us to the Warrens? Zombie is a Warrens tactician, and has better damage in the Warrens. Villa is better in the Ruins. Alpha is a Wield tactician, but they are a Warrens adventurer. Shabam is also a Warrens adventurer. And they're also a Ruins adventurer as well. Mortimer is a Warrens adventurer. Vox is a Wield adventurer and a Cove explorer. They do have Robust though, which could potentially be good, as the Warrens is likely, not likely, it is, as the Warrens is likely to have many, many opportunities for us to contract diseases. So having Robust and thereby having higher disease resistance is helpful. Viral is a Wield adventurer, and we have that locked in. But at the same time, Hound's Rush does better damage against beasts, so that could potentially be useful. Bashal is a Warren Scrounger. Tapon is a Warren's adventure, is a Wield adventurer. So not quite in the Warrens, but they are a beast hater, so they have more damage and less stress against beasts. And then Urmand is a Warren's tactician. is an Eldritch Slayer and an Eldritch Hater. They are also deadly. This is an interestingly tricky decision. I think, without a doubt, we're going to bring Alpha. That way we have someone who's a good tank in front here. And we can go ahead and equip all trinkets and sort by rarity here, just to get ahead of the game on that. And since we're going on a longer quest, we're going to want to make sure that everyone has their skills and their armor and weapons as fortified as we can get them, as upgraded, and as, if we can, we're going to want them to be maxed out. So Shabam here. We haven't had Shabam with us in a while. We can take that. Is there anything better for us to give them though? That is my question. Finale is great, but it's only one use, and we'll have to move around to use it. And the debuff on it, the lower dodge speed and stress increase, is not going to be easy to deal with in most cases, so it's definitely tricky. We mainly have Shabam for bleeds most of the time. We could swap Finale for Slice off. Just avoid Finale entirely, but that kind of mitigates the potential for an incredible amount of damage from the Finale. Which, in some instances, we might actually need. This is indeed very tricky. Let's see. I don't think Doai would be the right choice here. We could bring Mortimer. Vinoy is upgraded a bit more. Mortimer seems to be better fit for this. They seem to be better suited to warrants. Who else can we do with this? Vishal isn't bad, by any means. Vishal is not bad. We might want to switch someone out here. We could bring Ormond. And then we could bring Papon. This is tough. I think we want to bring Papon just so that we have someone who's a very potent, dedicated healer, in a sense. And then who do we make us at the back here? Since there's going to be so many beasts, I think we might want to actually bring Vilok. Now we have someone at the front who can do some great damage and take a lot of punishment, and is a great tank. We have someone in the second rank who can give some burst damage, apply blights and stuns, and heal themselves a bit. There's someone in the third rank who's a very good healer, who can also remove stealth and help boost the torchlight. And we have someone in the final rank who can remove protection, set up marks, and apply some bleeds, and does great damage against beasts, especially if we mark them first. I think that's a good team here. Before we go in, let's make sure we have them all well equipped. We want to make sure of that. We're going to spend a lot of coin here. Now Alpha has the Broken Blade and Indomitable. Mortimer has Damnation's Gift and Inhuman Bondage. Viral as the Lawbringer, and Gendarme's Pride, and Papon as the Hand of Light, and the Blessed Bull. Now, there's going to be a lot of trinkets here that we need to sell off in order to get our gold back up to the point we need it. And a lot of these trinkets we have, we don't actually use. So let's start going through which ones we don't use. We don't use the Drifter's Buckle. So we can sell that. We don't use the Disease Charm. We don't use the Bloody Dice. Let's see, what else? We don't use the Debuff Amulet. We don't use the Sun Cloak, or the Sun Ring. We also don't use the Moon Cloak, or the Moon Ring. As useful as those may be, we don't really use them. So it's better for us to just sell them off so we can get the coins so we can go on this quest. We don't use the Bloodthirst Ring. We don't use the Dark Bracer. We don't use the Cudgel Weight at all. We don't use the Swordman's Crest. At least not much, not anymore. We don't use the Redemption Armlet. And we don't use the Restraining Padlock. Let's go ahead and sort by rarity. Right, now that we have equipment upgraded, let's make sure skills are upgraded. Illumination and Judgment. Now upgraded to the maximum point. Baral, or highest point, to their maximum. Baral, Wounds, Public Whistle, Hound's Rush, and Hound's Harry. Mortimer, Solution, Beast File, Manacles. Then let's go ahead and upgrade your skills for your beast form as well. Just so that they have a bit of an extra edge. We'll upgrade all these skills that actually deal damage in that form twice, and we'll only upgrade the transformation once. The buffs it gives would increase, but nothing else really would. So that's not too much of an issue there. And then Alpha, your skills are all fully upgraded. So we don't have to worry about that. Now, let's go ahead and give you the Survivalist and see about making sure that everyone has 4 skills for camps. Now, Alpha has Quarantine, Pep Talk, and Bloody Shroud. So what else can we give them? We give them Encourage. Alpha's pretty good about taking care of stress. On Mortimer, they have Psych Up, Anger Management, and Wound Care. Let's see about giving them Eldritch Blood. Viral has Hound's Watch, Wound Care, Man's Best Friend, and Release the Hound. And Papon has Encourage, Bless, Chant, Pray, and Sanctuary. Okay. Let's see. Let's also make sure that we give more than... Oh, they're all... Oh no, they both have Wound Care. Okay. That should do. Now let's go ahead and sell off a couple more trinkets, just to make sure we have the appropriate amount of funding. We don't really use the Dazzling Charm much, or this Damage Stone. We don't use the Book of Intuition much. What else is there? What else can we sell off? We don't use Hell's Hairpin, so we can get rid of that. And we don't really use the Paralyzer's Crest. We also don't really use the Stun Amulet much. Or the Sturdy Boots. We also don't use the Unmovable Point much. Alright. So. Everything else here we've used at least somewhat. We don't really use the Fortunate Armlet much, though. And at this point, we don't really use the Haste Chalice much either. We almost never use the Book of Rage. We don't use that much at all, I don't think. Let's go ahead and sort by rarity. Now we have some decent coin again. Now, let's go ahead and head back to our section here. Make sure we have the right mission selected. Now, let's go ahead and equip the heroes we have here with some trinkets, now that we've gotten them fully upgraded. Now, Alpha, we're going to give Barristan's Head for the 25% extra protection. Warren's Adventurer will negate the extra stress that we gain from it. We could give them the Focus Ring and lower their dodge, but up their accuracy and crit chance. That wouldn't be a bad idea, but I feel like there are better things to give them. And honestly, I'm still partial to the Healing Armlet. Having someone with 63 max health, or max HP, getting extra healing onto them in whatever form we can is usually very, very useful. And that's why I continue to put that trinket on them. So, that's what we're going to do there. Mortimer, we're going to give them the Padlock of Transference. We could give them the Lock of Fury again. Is there something better to give them, though? At the cost of minus 10% Virtue Chains, we could give them plus 20% max HP, plus 3 speed, and plus 8 dodge. And plus 25% stress, which would essentially be plus 5% stress because of Mortimer being Warren's Adventurer, if we give them the Tempting Goblet. We could also give them Dismas's Head. I don't quite think that's what we want to do, though. Instead, I think we want to give them something else. I'm not entirely certain what, though. Let's see, we could give them the Archer's Ring that we have here, up the accuracy of their range skills so that the Manacles and the Beast Vial hit more frequently. Or we could give them Heavy Boots, which I think is what we might want to do here, actually. Lowers their speed by 2, but gives them some protection, so they're more tanky. And it gives them better move resist, considering that Mortimer does fairly well in their human form from the 2nd or 3rd position here. And that should be very good, because we don't want Pepon to move either. That could potentially be very useful. Or do we give them the Lock of Fury? That's the question here. For Lock of Fury, their damage goes up quite a bit, and they don't lose that much max HP. Plus they get faster, rather than slower. I think we'll go with the Lock of Fury this time around. And having them be a Warren's adventure is actually very good, because I have a feeling we may end up needing to have Mortimer transform. We might not, and if we don't, that'll be fantastic. But if we do, then we know that we have that as a possibility. Now, Papon. They are a beast hater, but they're not a Warren's adventurer. So this could potentially be very distressing for them to be here. And it's going to be even more distressing because we're giving them Junia's head. It'll be 30% extra, it'll be plus 30% on their healing skills. Now, what else can we give them? We could give them the Tome of Holy Healing to increase that even further. Or we could give them the Ancestor Scroll to increase it by the same amount and increase their stress skills. But that would still increase their stress even further than that. Tome of Holy Healing would likely be the better bet. We could give them the Calming Crystal and slow them down a little bit by reducing their speed by 1, but that would make it so that Junia's head only gives them 5% greater stress. However, it's not exactly what we want to do at the moment. At this point, that's probably not what we want to do. What we want is to make sure that they can heal as much as possible. So, let's go ahead and give them the Ancestor Scroll. Papon is going to be stressed out very quickly and very easily here. However, there is, of course, the benefit of having an extra 55% on healing skills. That would be fantastic. Now, Garal. Given how much stress that Papon is going to be taking, we may end up actually upgrading, picking up and taking Cry Havoc. However, I don't think that's going to be the smartest bet. Instead, I think we're just going to have to try and avoid letting Papon get targeted by enemies that use stress skills, which is not exactly the hardest thing to do, considering that Alpha can mark themselves. So, now, Garal is also not a Warren's adventurer, but they do have their skills that give them extra damage against beasts. We can increase that damage even further by giving them the Beast Slayer's Ring, giving them 25% plus 25% damage versus beasts at the cost of 8 dodge. Their dodge is 30 at its base, which is very nice, but I don't think we want to do that. Instead, let's go ahead and give them the Ancestor's Candle. So now if the torch is above 50, they get plus 15% damage, plus 2 speed, and plus 5 dodge at the cost of only 10% stress increase. Or a 10% stress increase. Plus 10% stress is that. So, let's see, what else can we give you that you would benefit from? We could give you the Calming Crystal, we could give you Killurgin's Charm, we could give you Heavy Boots, could give you the Focus Ring, we could give you Dismas's Head. Let's see, let's just see. I think we want to go to Beast Slayer's Ring, actually. We lower dodge, but oh no, lowering the dodge is not exactly the greatest idea at all. So what else can we do? We could give them Solar Crown. It would counteract some of the stress of the Ancestor's Candle so long as we keep the torch high. But that's all that would do, and that's only if we keep the torchlight up. So then what do we do? The Archer's Ring might not be a bad idea. You know what? Considering how much stress this will give us, it's not going to be that much, but if it is going to give us some stress, then we could use the Ancestor's Tentacle Idol here to give us an even better chance of becoming virtuous if they get stressed out. That would be all the benefit we gain from that. It wouldn't be the worst one. could be potentially very dangerous, but I think with the Ancestor's Candle giving them a bit extra dodge, we can afford to lose a little bit. So let's go with the Focus Ring. That will give them plus 10 accuracy and plus 5% crit chance. They have minus 8 dodge, but they have plus 5 dodge if the torch is above 50. So if we keep the torch above 50, their dodge is essentially 27. Alright. That's enough prep on that part. Let's go ahead and provision. Now we're going to stock up on everything because this is a champion mission, and this is a long one. We don't want to run out of anything here. We're actually going to take 3 full stacks of food, all the food we can get. We'll take 2 stacks of shovels. This is the Warren, so we're taking 6 antivenoms. We have 2 stacks of antivenoms. No, 6. 2 stacks of 6 antivenoms, so 2 stacks there. 2 stacks of medicinal herbs. We'll take 4 skeleton keys. A stack of holy water. We're going to want to take more torches than that. And we're going to want to take more torches than shovels. So let's go ahead and drop one of our stacks of shovels. And make sure we take a stack of bandages as well. This is a difficult situation. We'll take 1 stack of medicinal herbs. Now, let's see. We have a stack of laudanum, 2 stacks of antivenom, a stack of bandages, a stack of medicinal herbs, 3 stacks of food, 2 stacks of torches, a stack of shovels, a stack of holy water, and 4 skeleton keys. We won't really be needing too many keys, I don't think. And if we do, then oh well. You know what? No, let's not be stingy with it. Our inventory is completely filled up. And we have 2 dog treats here because we're all over. Alright. Let's go ahead and get this underway. Embark. Warrens. You can retreat from combat, and even abandon quests. If things are going terribly, live to fight another day.
They breed quickly down there in the dark, but perhaps we can slay them even faster.
Alright. Let's do this. There are plenty of rooms here, and plenty of battles that we're going to have to endure. And they're all going to be very difficult. But I believe we can do this. So let's get started. We'll head down this way first. We'll pack with some loot. We can't really carry much of anything at the moment, but we'll still go through the motions here. Ooh, good dodge on that trap barrel. We still have to get through these corridors anyway, through these hallways, to get to these rooms. First room, no room battle, no scout, that's fine. We'll head to this one. Ooh, good dodge. That's 2 traps we've dodged. Good job, Mortimer. And then we have a pile of bones here. We could inspect that, or use some holy water on that and get some treasure out of it. Move up the light as we head into this room. And we have the first room battle here. We have a swine heaver, a swine meat hooker, goes for the hook where it hurts on alpha, resists the debuff. We have a swine slayer, swine meat hooker is also stealth, and a swine thunderer. I don't know if we've come across a swine thunderer before. 29 hit points, human and beast, 21 dodge, 9 speed, 50% stun resistance, 80% blight resistance, 60% bleed resistance, 55% debuff resistance, and 65% move resistance. Right, and Varel is the one who starts us off here. Outside of, after that Swan Meatwalker hits Alpha with a hook where it hurts for 10. So let's see. The Swine Slayer has protection, so let's try and drop that with the target whistle. Mark them, and we get the debuff. Drums of Doom. Hits everyone. Gives Alpha and Top on some stress. Vomit at all. Stresses them out. They resist the debuff. No diseases, thankfully. Let's go for the Beast Bile here, as that will potentially hit the Meat Hooker. They dodged it though. We hit the Thunderer though, and we got the Blight rather. We got the Blight and the debuff. Now let's go for the Illumination here on the Meat Hooker, which they dodge, but we still bring the Torchlight up when we do that. Now let's go for the Stand on Alpha. That will bring them up to 55% protection. Ball and Chain on Brawl. They resist the stun. There's a move on that too, but they resist that as they can't be moved any further back. Now let's go for another Beast Bile here. And we get a crit on the Thunderer. And we hit the Meat Hooker that time. We got the Blight and the debuff. Vomit Alpha. They resist the debuff. Let's go for the Illumination on the Meat Hooker again. We hit that time. Now we bring them out of stealth, and we got the debuff, which drops their dodge to 0. Now let's go for the Hound's Rush on the Meat Hooker. As long as we hit, we'll deal 7 to 12 damage. 7 damage leaves them with 5 hit points. And the Blight, make sure that the next time they act, they die. All we have to do is hit. And we did just that. And we applied the bleed as well. Drums of Doom, after the Blight does some damage. Stress out everyone overall there. The Blight and the bleed take care of the Meat Hooker. Ball and Chain overall. Again, they get the crit for 11. And they get the stun. Now we'll have Alpha go for the Chop on the Slayer, which they dodge. Light does some more damage to the Thunderer. Doom again. Stresses everybody out. Let's go for the Manacles on the Heaver. We get the hit there, and we get the stun. Stun goes away. But all stun goes away. Now let's go for the Divine Grace on Vidal. That'll pull them up for 14. Very good. Ball and Chain on Vidal. Another crit for 11.
Injury.
They resist the stun though. And we can go for the Chop on the Slayer again. We hit that time and deal 18 damage. Very nice. Now let's go for the Beast Bile. Get the Blight and the debuff. Go for it again. That takes care of the Thunderer. Weaver takes some damage from the Blight. They go for the Vomit on Alpha. Alpha gets the runs. They resist the debuff though. The runs gives Alpha minus 20 dodge, minus 10% max HP. That's not good. Alpha's dodge is now 0. The light level does give some dodge though, so Alpha's dodge isn't completely at 0 now. But it's still not great. So, let's go ahead and have Viral go for the Wicked Wounds here. Get themselves up a bit. Alpha's dodge is 4 because of the light level. Alright. Alpha's also getting pretty stressed out. We can have them heal up with Solemnity. But I think we want to try and get rid of the Slayer first. So let's go for that.
Their formation is broken.
Chop takes them down.
Maintain the offensive.
Now we can have Papan go for a Divine Comfort and pull everyone a bit. And for a good amount as well. And almost everyone other than Baral is back at full health. We can go for the Manacles here, potentially get a stun, or just outright kill the Heaver. And we get the stun. The Blight will take care of them when they act, which is now, so they're down. We take this key. Actually, no, we can't. We have a full stack of keys. Alright then. Well then, Let's see what's in this strong box.
Glittering gold,
Nothing we can take with
trinkets
us at
and
the moment.
baubles, paid for in blood.
And again, there is no scout. That's fine. Let's head over this way. Good dodge, Papon. Dinner cart. Let's go ahead and use medicinal herbs here.
A
We can
handsome
use the
reward
food that we find
for a
inside
task
there
well
to heal up
performed.
Brawl. Everyone else is already at full health, so we don't need to worry about the rest of it. Bring the torchlight up as we head into this room. No room battle, but we get a scout. And a sizable one at that. And there's a secret door. Now that makes things tricky. If we have the potential to do it, if we have all the other room battles taken care of, then we can come back for that. But for right now, the room battles are our main concern. So let's deal with those instead. Those are our priority.
A fortune, waiting to be spent.
Bring the torchlight back up. Head into this room. We could have taken some of the stuff in that pack, but it wasn't exactly what we needed. Vomit and Alpha again. These heavers, we have 2 heavers, a meat hooker, and a slayer. Not too dissimilar from the last group of enemies we faced, but dissimilar enough. Let's go for the illumination on the meat hooker. Hit, that'll bring them out of stealth.
The light,
And get the debuff,
promise of
so the
safety.
dodge is dropped. Good dodge on the vomit overall. Now let's go for the target whistle on this meat hooker as well. We get the debuff and the mark, so their protection is now lowered. Now let's go for the manacles on the heaver here. We get the stun. Now they can't vomit next time. And we set up the stand for higher resistances. Protection, hook where it hurts on Alpha.
Mortality
Crit for 9.
clarified in a single
Ow.
strike.
Resist the debuff though. Ball and chain on Brawl. Ow. They resist the stun. Now let's go for the manacles on the meat hooker. Get the stun there too. Vomit on Alpha. Again. Alpha just keeps getting vomited on right now. But they resist the debuff. Yet again. Let's go ahead and heal up Alpha with the Divine Grace. Now let's go for the Hound's Rush on this meat hooker. A crit for 44. Mercy is for the courts. Butcher cut on Alpha. Ow. They resist the debuff, but they get the bleed. That's fine though. We can use advantage to pull that up. Alpha's starting to get really stressed out, so we'll have them use Serenity to heal themselves up, get rid of some of the stress. Now let's go with the manacles on this healer. We get the stun there. And now we can go for the Hound's Rush on this swine healer.
As the fiend falls,
13, and that will take them
faint
down.
hope blossoms.
We avoided any vomits this time around. Butcher cut on Papon. Good dodge. Now let's go for chop on this Slayer. For 15 damage. That's pretty good. Now let's go for the elimination here on this healer, which they dodge. So that's alright. Let's see, what do we do? Let's go for the Beast Bile here. Crit the corpse there.
Masterfully executed.
Light. Damage over time effects there. We'll start taking care of the corpse. Get that out of the way. We'll get the blight and the debuff.
Death
on that
waits
Heaver.
for the slightest
Vomit.
lapse in
Mortimer.
concentration.
Which they get a crit on. They get the debuff. And they get
Unnerved,
disease. The Butcher
unbalanced.
Cut crits on Alpha. They get the debuff and the bleed. Let's go for the Hound's Rush on this healer.
Press
We don't want any
disadvantage.
diseases.
Give them no quarter.
They'll get some damage from that bleed. Tapeworm gives Mortimer plus 100% food consumed. We have 3 stacks of food, so hopefully we can kind of balance that out with the abundance of food that we have. But that's not a guarantee. Let's make sure we cure, let's make sure we cure that bleed on Alpha. And we'll go ahead and use Salinity here. They only heal for 7, but they still get distress reduction, which is good. And then we can go for the Illumination on the Swine Slayer. And we get the debuff, which drops their dodge. Now we can go for Absolution with Mortimer. We'll build them up and give them a little bit less stress. And then let's go for Divine Comfort here. Heal everyone up a bit. We get a crit heal on Mortimer for 16, which drops their stress a bit too. Now we can go for the Hound's Rush on the Swine Slayer.
A singular strike.
Crit for 19. We get a bleed there. We get a bleed. Butcher Cut on Alpha. Resist the debuff. Resist the bleed. Let's have Alpha go ahead and heal again with Solemnity. Drop their stress even further. We'll have Mortimer do much the same. And we can go with the Judgment of this corpse here with a crit for 17, just to say that we've got something going there. Go for Lick Wounds with it all. Slayer bleeds out there at 1 point. Go for the Butcher Cut on Alpha. Crit for 9. They resist the debuff, but they get the bleed. Now let's go for Solemnity again. Brings the stress back down and the health back up. Now we can go for Absolution again. Bring the stress down even further. Right now what we're doing is just bringing stress down and letting the damage over time effect take care of the Slayer. And we'll go with the Divine Comfort. We'll go Alpha.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
Alpha has a bleed on for 4 rounds, at 4 points of damage for those 4 rounds, so we'll go ahead and use the bandage here to get rid of that. We can't take anything from there. Now, let's go ahead and move back this way. We're going to have to sort of just deal with backtracking right now. So we'll head back to this room, and then back to the room that we explored prior to that. We can deal with the hunger. We consume 5 food with every time hunger happens. With every time we have to feed our heroes, we consume 5 food rather than 4 because of the tapeworm that Mortimer now has. And we'll head back up here to where we started. No new hallway battles have appeared, which is good. Now we'll head to this room, to a room battle and a curio. This crate is empty, that's fine. We can bring the torchlight back up as we go. And we have a hallway battle. We get the surprise though, 2 swine meat hookers and 2 swine heavers. That's not great for us. Let's go with the illumination on this one in the front. Hit,
In radiance,
debuff,
may we
out of
find
stealth.
victory.
Now let's go with the manacles on this swine heaver. We get the stun. And we can go for the... We could go for the Hound's Harry, but it doesn't do much damage. So instead, let's go for the Hound's Rush on this swine heaver at the back here. We get 20 damage and bleed for 2 points. So potentially, they'll be done before we fight. We could go for the withstand here, but I think we want to go for the chop. Get more damage on this swine. The stun goes off on that heaver. Get a vomit from that heaver. The bleed will take care of them next time. Hit Papon resistance. The debuff. Hook where it hurts on Alpha. Ow. They resist the debuff. And hook where it hurts on Papon. Ow. They get the debuff. lower disease resist, lower bleed resist. That's not good. So let's go ahead and make sure that we have our priorities sorted out here. Swine fever is faster. We don't want them to vomit on anyone and give them disease. So we'll go for the Hound's Rush there. As we get the bleed will take care of them. That'll do there. Now let's go for the manacles on this meat hooker. And we get the stun. The bleed takes care of that healer, and then the bleed takes care of that healer. The stun goes off on this meat hooker. Let's go ahead and have Alpha go for the chop here. That takes care of that meat hooker. They're done now. Now we'll go for the Divine Comfort and heal everyone, and we get a crit heal on Mortimer for 16. And then they go for the hit that hurts on Mortimer, giving them for 6, and they get the debuff. And then they go for the hook where it hurts on Alpha, and they get the debuff there as well. Now let's go for the Manacles, which they dodge. We'll go for the Target Whistle. We get the Mark, and we get the debuff, which lowers their protection. We'll go for the Illumination as well. We'll resist the debuff on that. Now let's go for the Withstand. We'll bring up protection and the resistances. Now we can go for the Manacles again, which hits, and we get the stun. Now let's go for the Hound's Rush. That'll take them down.
Foolish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
Alright. Now heading into this room, we know there's a room battle ahead. We have a Swinetar Champion, Cultist Champion, and a Cultist Witch. Swinetar Champion is 88 health, 40% protection, 21 dodge, 2 speed. They're human and beast. At least they count as human and beast. They have 115% stun resistance, 100% blight resistance, 60% bleed and debuff resistance, and 140% move resistance. They are one tough enemy. It won't be easy to bring them down. The Cultist Witch could stress people out. And Alpha's stress is currently at 70, which could be very dangerous. We want to try and take them down if we can. I think that's our play. So let's try and get that going. Let's go for the extra damage here. We'll go for the Hound's Rush and the Cultist Witch. Don't get the bleed there, but that's alright. We'll set Alpha up with a Withstand. They're now marked, so it's more likely that the Witch will target them with any of their skills, especially those that deal stress damage. Let's go for the Manacles on this Cultist Champion. We get the stun. It's one instance of damage we've avoided now. Now we can go for the Judgment on this Witch, and potentially take them down. We don't take them down, but we have them lower in health now. We go for the Stressful Incantation on Alpha, which hits. It stresses them out, as we expected, and marks them, but we were already marked. They were. Crunch and backhand on tap on an Alpha. They both resist the stun. Now let's go for the Beast Bio here. That will hit both Swinetar and the Cultist Champion. You get the debuff on the Swinetar Champion, and then the Blight Cultist Champion. We do get the debuff on them as well, though. Now let's go for the Hound's Rush and hope we get this Cultist Witch. There we go. It won't be stressing out Alpha now. Now we can go ahead and go for the Divine Comfort and heal everyone up a bit.
Soothed. Sedated.
And Alpha can go for Solemnity, drop their stress a bit, and heal themselves up the rest of the round. Boar Rush on Alpha. Ow. They resist the move and the stun. Now we can go for the Beast Bile again. We get the Blight on both of them, the debuff on the Swinetar Champion. We'll go with the Target Whistle on the Swinetar Champion. We get the mark and the debuff set up there. The damage over time effects take care of the cultist champion, so we don't have to worry about that. Now we can go for the elimination of the Swine-Tar champion. We get the debuff there. And we'll keep having Alpha use Solemnity, healing themselves up and dropping their stress, because they have a lot of stress at the moment. Crunching backhand, crits Papon for 20.
About to break.
But they resist the stun. Alpha also resists the stun and doesn't take nearly as much damage. Now, let's go for the Hound's Rush here. And the Swine-Tar champion, 27 damage. They resist the bleed, that's fine. We'll go for Divine Grace on Papon here, a crit heal for 28. Amazing. Now let's go for the Beast Spire. Keep the damage over time effect going, and get the debuff and the blight there. And we'll keep Alpha healing themselves up with Solemnity. Keep healing them. Bring their health back up. Getting rid of some of their stress. Crunching backhand on Alpha and Mortimer that time. Which a lot of damage from that. We'll have to go for Absolution. We'll go up 5, drop their stress by 10. We'll have Varol go for the Hound's Rush again.
Champion falls.
Crit for 44, I believe that was. And that takes them down.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
We get no scout from this, but that's fine. Now, we do know that there is a curio and a trap in this hallway leading to this room battle. So we can take care of this room battle without having to deal with another hallway battle. Makeshift dining table. Can we bring the light up if we use the torch here? We cannot. That's fine. We'll use the medicinal herbs here.
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
We'll use the food here to heal Mortimer and Alpha. Move the stacks about so that they're more appropriate there. And then we'll head this way towards this room battle. I need all the grub I can find. Nothing but rotting bodies. That could have been worse, I suppose. I don't really know that it could have. Okay. Now we have a trap here. We have 70%, 70%, 70%, 100% chances to disarm it. But all, you have 100% chance. Disarm it. There we go. Thank you. Fantastic. Now, we can go into this room. We'll bring the torchlight back up as we do. And we have a room battle. We have a Flesh Eater, Swine Meat Hooker, Swine Thunderer, goes for guns of debilitation on Papon. I don't know why I pronounced it very differently. Flesh Eater goes for a munch on them and gets the blight. And we have a Swine Skyver. We've dealt with the Swine Skyver before. They're not exactly the easiest thing in the world to deal with, but we'll do what we can there. So, first things first, I suppose. Let's go ahead and try to mark them. We have them marked, and we get the debuff. Spit to roast Mortimer with a crit for 27, and pushes them to the back. And gets the stun. That's insane. We can get rid of the blights on Papon. And we can go for the Divine Comfort, or we can use the Illumination here on the Meat Hooker to bring them out of stealth. More on the Skyver to make sure that we have the ability to hit them. I think we want to go with the Divine Comfort this time. Make sure we heal up Mortimer, as they can't heal themselves now. There goes their stun. Hook where it hurts on Varol. That brings the Skyver up to the second position. That's fine. We're going to try and go for damage on the Skyver this time. We don't have resistances up because of the withstand. And we don't have protections up because of that either. So let's put some holy water. Yeah, we'll use holy water on Alpha. That will up their resistances for a few rounds. It won't up their protection though. But we can now try and go for a chop on this Skyver, which they dodge. That's about as expected though. Now, let's go ahead and have Mortimer. Mortimer's at the back now. If there were ever a time to do it, I think it would be now. Mortimer, transform. It stresses out everybody a bit, but it heals them a bit as well. Now we can have Mortimer move up one. Hook where it hurts on Papon. Good dodge. Drums of Doom. It's everybody. Stresses out Alpha and they're all. We have Papon. Here we can have them go for the Illumination on the Skyver, which hits and gets the debuff.
The path is clear.
Go for Munch on Papon. They resist the Blight. Let's go with the Hound's Rush on the Swan Skyver, which hits for 19 and gets a bleed. Very nice. Goring Flight on Papon. Crits for 11. Brings them to the back. Now, in order to get to that Skyver, we need to get them back up to the front. Or at least the first two ranks. So let's go ahead and go for the chop on this Flesh Eater.
Decimated.
That takes them down. You don't have to deal with them and their blight. Now, let's go for the Slam here with Mortimer on this Thunderer for 18, which gets the debuff and knocks them to the back. Excellent. Now we can go for the Hound's Rush on the Skyler, and that will take them down. You don't have to worry about that. Drums of Debilitation on Alpha. They resist the debuff. They don't resist the mark, but that's alright. Now let's go for the Divine Comfort here and heal everyone a bit.
Sedated.
Look where it hurts on Mortimer. A crit for 20. And they get the debuff.
The will to fight falters.
Now we'll set up the... We'll go for Solemnity here.
A momentary
We need to bring the
awakening.
stress that Alpha has back down. Now we can have Mortimer transform back into their human state. Get a debuff. But we'll go for Absolution. Have them start healing up. That'll lower their stress as well. We'll go for the Hound's Rush on the Thunderer. That'll take the Thunderer down, which leaves only the Swine Meat Hooker. Let's go for the Divine Grace on Mortimer with a crit heal for 28, bringing them back up to full. We'll go for Solemnity here with Alpha, keeping that stress down. Hook where it hurts on Alpha. They get the debuff. Then another hook where it hurts on Alpha. Ow. And they get the debuff again. Now, let's go for the Divine Grace. We'll go for Divine Comfort, actually, healing everyone. I'll bring Alpha up to the point where they can heal themselves up to full. Let's go for the Beast Bile here. Get some damage over time effects on these corpses to clear them out of the way, so Alpha can help deal with his Meat Hooker. Then we'll go for the Target Whistle on them. We get the Mark, and we get the debuff. We'll have Alpha keep healing themselves. Their stress goes down as well. These corpses are cleared out. Now there's only one left, and the damage over time effects will deal with that. The Meat Hooker is here, and we can go for the Manacles here. Crit for 14, and we get the stun. Let's go for the Mark again, the Target Whistle. Get the Mark, and we get the debuff again, so their protection is now at 0. We'll have Alpha heal one more time just to bring the stress down a little bit further. Now we can have Papon go for the Judgment here, which they dodge. That's alright, though. We can have them go for Divine Comfort, healing everyone. They're the only ones who need the healing there, but that's fine. Let's go for the Manacles. That'll hit, and that'll finish them off.
This expedition at least promises success.
Let's hope it does. Now, we have 2 uses of firewood here. So we can use the firewood, and we'll make camp.
Circle in the dark. The battle may yet be won.
We'll go for the feast. That'll take 10 food now. Make sure that everyone is at full health and drops their stress a bit. Now, we can have Hound's Watch set up here. prevent nighttime ambush. We can go for prey to relieve some stress from everybody. And set up some protection. I got rid of a lot of alpha stress. Now, what else can we do here? We can give Alpha the Bloody Shroud, up the resistances for 4 battles. And we can go for an Encourage here on Papon. We don't have any skills that only cost 1 respite, but that's fine. We can rest now. I can feel my heart, it pumps strong. This reminds me of that time in the Weald, just without all the spiders. Alright. That's all the room battles in this section done. So let's head up to this room. We know there's no room battle here, which is fine. Let's see. Holy water. I forget what this does. Kisses and the hero feels wrong. Debuff. Minus 20 dodge until camp. We can get rid of that with medicinal herbs. Right, so that's what that does. Now I remember. Hold up. We're fine to go in here. The torch light is still high. We know there's no room battle. We get a scout here. And a large scout at that. That scouts out the rest of the map, more or less, except for this hallway here. That's fine. There are 4 more room battles that we have to get through. And we can get through them without having to deal with too many hallway battles. We only have to deal with 1. So, let's go ahead and do that. We'll head up this way. Some heirloom stashed here. We can actually take some of these things now, so we'll take that.
Now it must be carried home.
Head over to here, bring up the torchlight, and head in. We have 2 brigand raiders and a brigand hunter. That's fine. We can go for the manacles on this raider. They resist the stun. And then we can go for the target whistle on this raider. With the mark and the debuff. Shank on Mortimer, good dodge. Blanket fire. Mortimer and they're all dodge. And Alpha resisted the debuff. Papon did not though. That's fine. Let's go ahead and set up the withstand. Higher resistances, more protection. We have that extra bit of protection from Papon for 4 battles, so that'll be very helpful. So now Alpha's protection is at 70%, which is very, very good. Now let's go for the illumination on this Brigand Hunter. We get the debuff, we knock him out of stealth. Thankfully we hit with that. Another shank on Mortimer, good dodge. Let's go for the manacles on this hunter, or raider, rather. We get the stun there, which is good. Now let's go for the hounds. Let's go for the target whistle on this raider now. We get the mark and we get the debuff, so the protection's dropped now. Blanket fire, crits Mortimer, hits everyone. Debuffs Papon and Mortimer. Thrall and Alpha both resisted the debuff there, which is good. Let's go for the Divine Comfort here and heal everyone up a bit. Shank on Thrall, which they dodge. Stun goes away for that raider. And then Alpha, we can have you go for the chop on this Brigand Raider here. That hits, and that kills them. Blanket fire. Hits everyone. Debuffs Mortimer and Papon again. Let's go for the Hound's Rush on this Raider in front here. For 27 damage, that will take them down. Now we can go for the Manacles on the Hunter. They resist the stun. Let's go for the Illumination on the Hunter. Get the debuff. Now we'll go for the Hue. That'll deal some damage to those corpses. We can go for the Manacles again. We get the stun there. Let's go for the Divine Comfort. Heal everybody up. There goes the stun. Now we can go for the Hound's Rush. With a crit for 22. No quarter given. That will take down
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
We can go ahead and take these portraits. We could use some extra food, so we'll swap out one portrait for 2 extra food. And we still have a full stack of keys, so we don't need to worry about that. There's nothing left to scout out but that one hallway. That's fine. So here we can use this key in this chest. We have 2 stacks of crests and 4 deeds. So 12 crests, 2 stacks of 12, 24 crests, rather. 2 stacks of 12 crests, which is of course 24 crests. That's how math works, obviously. And then 4 deeds. I think we can stack deeds up to 6, if I remember right. But we don't need those right now. So, let's head this way and deal with this hallway now. We have a Swine Slayer, a Swine Meat Hooker, and a Swine Skyver. Let's go ahead and target this Skyver. The target whistle. Get the debuff, which lowers their protection. We get the mark there. Now let's go for the illumination there as well, which hits. And we get the debuff, which lowers their dodge.
A blazing star is born.
Hook where it hurts on Mortimer, and they get the debuff. Goring Flight on Alpha. Ow. Now we can set up the Withstand. Give Alpha higher resistances. They have plus 55% resistances on their resistances to bleeds, blights, moves, and debuffs. It's incredible. It's incredibly useful, incredibly beneficial for them. Let's go for the manacles on this Skyver. They resist the stun. Butcher Cut on Alpha with a crit for 6. They resist the debuff. They resist the bleed. That's good. Let's go for the Beast Bile now. We get a crit on the Skyver there. They still resist the debuff and the blight from that. The Meat Hooker resists the blight, not the debuff. Now let's go for the Hound's Rush on this Skyver. 26 damage there, and we get the bleed. Let's go for the Judgment there as well. That will take them down. And a crit heal on Papon, which reduces their stress a bit. A crit heal for 16. Ball and Chain on Varal, and they get the stun. Hook where it hurts on Alpha. They resist the debuff. Let's go for Solemnity here. Heal Alpha back up a bit. And drop their stress a little while we're at it. Let's go for the Manacles now on the Meat Hooker. We get the stun there. Varal stun goes away. Ball and Chain on Varal again, which they dodge. Let's go for Divine Grace on Mortimer. And then we'll have Alpha go for the Chop on the Slayer. 17 damage. There goes the stun on the Meat Hooker. Let's go for the Beast Bile here. Crit the Meat Hooker and the Corpse. We get the Blight and the debuff on the Meat Hooker there. And the Blight will actually take care of the Meat Hooker, so we don't have to worry about that. So let's go for the Target Whistle on the Swine Slayer. Get the mark and the debuff there. Then we can go for the Illumination on them, which hits. They resist the debuff though. Blight takes care of the Meat Hooker. Butcher Cut on Alpha. They resist the debuff. They resist the bleed. Then we go for the Chop, which does 17 damage and leaves them on 4. Now let's go for the Manacles here, and that will take them down. Torch here, we'll just go ahead and take it.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Now we can actually, we're actually going to use the holy water here.
If only treasure could
Use the
staunch
torch.
the flow
We don't need
of
those extra
otherworldly
portraits.
corruption.
Alright, there's a room battle in here with a curio. Another swine slayer, another swine meat hooker, and 2 more swine heavers. We get the surprise though, which is very good. We still have the extra protection and resistances on Alpha and the extra protection on Viral and Mortimer for this battle and one more battle after this, which is very helpful. So let's go for the Hound's Rush and see if we can't do some good damage here. Actually, we can go for the Hound's Harry and get some bleed set up, potentially. I think we'll wait for that. I think we're going to try and just take down some of these heavers if we can. We'll aim for this one at the back. The max damage there, which is 20. The bleed will drop them down to 1, and then the damage after that will take care of the rest. But we can potentially take them down now. So let's go for that. Let's go for the illumination here. That will take care of them. That's
As the
1
light
heaver
gains
down.
purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Manacles on the other heaver. We get the stun. And then we'll go for the withstand on Alpha to up protections and resistances. And set up the mark. Ball and chain on Papon. Ow. They resist the move and the stun. The stun goes off on that heaver.
Such a
Crit on the
terrible
hook where it
assault
hurts.
cannot be left
And
unanswered.
Mortimer, we get the debuff. Let's go for the manacles on the Slayer. We get the stun. Go for the vomit on Mortimer. They resist the debuff. No disease from that. Let's go for the Hound's Rush on the heaver then. They get the dodge. They dodge, rather. Let's go for the illumination on the heaver. They resist the debuff. Hook where it hurts on Papon. And they get the debuff. Let's go for the chop on the heaver. There we go. The heaver's gone. They're done. They're down. They're dead. Not a problem. Stun goes off for the Slayer. Now, let's go for the Absolution here on Mortimer. I'm going to stress down a little bit. And heal them up for a little bit. Hook where it hurts on Alpha. Ow. They resist the debuff. Let's go for the Divine Grace here on Mortimer. Heal them back up. We'll go for the Target Whistle on the Meat Hooker. We get the mark and the debuff. Butcher Cut on Alpha. Ow. They resist the debuff and the bleed. So now we can go for the Chop. 13 damage. Not bad. Now we can go for the Beast Bile on these corpses. A little bit of damage, set up the blights. So there's damage over time there. This corpse will be gone by the time the next round starts. Now let's go for the Illumination on this Meat Hooker, which they dodge. That's fine. Let's go for the Hound's Rush. That'll take them down. Now we can just go for the Chop on the Swine Slayer for 9 damage. Go for the Ball and Chain on Papon. Good dodge. Alright. There's one corpse, and then the other corpse moves up. So let's go for the Absolution here. Actually, let's go for the Manacles here on the Swine Slayer. And we get the stun. Now we can go for the Target Whistle. We get the mark and the debuff. There goes the stun. We'll go for the Divine Comfort and heal everybody up a bit.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of
Now we'll go
battle.
for the Chop. That will take them down.
Be wary.
We can use the food,
Triumphant pride
to heal Papon
precipitates
up a bit.
dizzying fall.
and we can take that torch. We don't get the scalp, but that's fine. We don't really need to see what's in that hallway currently. And then let's go ahead and see, is there anyone here in the party who has room for a new skill? Let's see. Of those with... This could potentially give them a skill or just a buff. Let's have Viral Check this. They become a worn scrounger in place of steady. I'm not going to be too opposed to the extra scouting chance, to be honest. Steady was good, but this could still be good as well. So, let's go ahead and head to the last room battle now. Or at least the second to last, rather. We got this curio here, which is very, very good. This gives us a buff with medicinal herbs, so let's use it. We now have plus 30% damage until camp with Alpha. That's fantastic. Torchlight. We only have this protection and these resistances on Alpha, and the protection on Viral and Mortimer, or Viral, rather, respectively, with this battle. And what a battle to have it in. We get the surprise. We have a Swine Heaver, a Flesh Eater, and a large Flesh Eater. Let's go ahead and get started then. Let's go for the Hound's Rush on the Swine Heaver, which they dodge. Well then, let's go for the Manacles. Actually, let's go for the Manacles on the Flesh Eater. We get the stun. Now we'll go for the Withstand. And the Illumination on the Heater. And we get the debuff. The dodge is now way lower, which is good. Go for the Vomit on Alpha. They resist the debuff. Stun goes off on that Flesh Eater. Weaken Prey, large Flesh Eater, or large Flesh Eater, not Fresh Eater. Large Flesh Eater on Alpha. They resist the debuff, but they get the mark. Now, let's go for the Manacles on the large Flesh Eater. We resist the stun, but we get some damage there. Let's go for the Hound's Rush on the Heaver. We get the Bleed, some decent damage there. We go for the Vomit on Alpha, which does no damage. It does stress them a bit. Or stress them out, rather. It does stress them out a little bit. They resist the debuff. Now we can go for the we'll go for the Illumination on the Healer again. There we go. And that will bring them down to 2 health, and the Bleed will take care of them now. And we get the debuff again, which is great. Now we'll have Alpha go for the Solemnity, heal up,
The wounds of war
their stress a
can
bit.
be healed,
Munch,
but never hidden.
Alpha from this Flesh Eater. They resist the Blight. Tentacle Devour on Alpha. Ow. They resist the debuff. Now we can go for the Beast Bile, the large Flesh Eater and the Flesh Eater. Both resist the Blight, but only the large Flesh Eater resists the debuff. Now we can go for the Target Whistle. We can go for that on the large Flesh Eater. We get the mark and the debuff there. And we'll go for the Illumination on the Flesh Eater, which they dodge. They go for the Munch on Alpha. Ow. They resist the Blight. Tentacle Devour on Alpha. Ow. They resist the debuff. Let's go for the Solemnity again. Heal and the stress reduction. Now we'll go for more Beast's Bile. And we get the debuff again on the Flesh Eater and the Flesh Eater alone, not the large one. Now let's go for the Illumination on the Flesh Eater again. We get the debuff. Let's go for the Hound's Harry. We get a crit on the Flesh Eater, which takes them down. And the large Flesh Eater resists the bleed. Tentacle Devour on Papon for 19 hurts a lot. Let's go for the Solemnity here and heal Alpha back up to full. And we'll stress down a bit further. And we'll go for Manacles, the large Flesh Eater, and we get the stun. Now we'll go for Divine Grace on Papon. We'll heal them up for 13, which is great. We'll go for the Target Whistle. They resist the debuff, but we get the mark refreshed on them. Now the stun goes off on them, and we can go for the chop here. 22, which is great. Very good damage there. Now we'll go for the manacles again. They resist the stun, but we get some damage there. And we're going to go for the Hound's Rush for 18, which takes them down.
Has no intrinsic merit.
Take this bandage.
Unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
That's fine. No scout to be had there. Now we'll head back this way, and we'll go around to that room battle. We've been very calculated about this. We've taken a few risks. Not all of them have paid off, but we've been very calculated about the way we've done this so far. And that's not going to stop just now. So, let's go ahead and head back this way. Head this way, rather. We can handle the hunger just fine. Books here. We'll have Mortimer check. Well, no, we'll have Papon check them out. The most unsettling passage. All I did was bring the light down a bit. That's fine. Bring the torchlight back up to almost full here. And now, we'll make sure we're prepared for this. We'll have Alpha. And we'll have Papon. Use some holy water here. Now we have a Swine Meat Hooker, a Swine Tar Champion, and a Swine Thunderer. Let's start with the Thunderer. Actually, we'll start with the Champion. Get the mark, protection, drop from the debuff. Go for the Drums of Debilitation on Alpha. They resist the debuff, but they get the mark there, which is fine. Alpha was going to mark themselves anyway. And we did get the mark and the debuff on the Swine Tar Champion from the target whistle, of course. Now, let's see. Go for the Beast Bile. We can potentially drop the resistance and then eventually get Blight. Let's go for the manacles then. Oh no, let's go for the Beast Bile. We get the Blight, and we get the debuff, which lowers Blight resist. It's fantastic. Now let's go for the Withstand here with Alpha. Up the protection, up the resistances. And then with Papon, we can go for the Illumination and this Swine Meat Hooker. And we get the debuff, which lowers their dodge, and we bring them out of stealth with it. We go for the hook where it hurts on Mortimer. They dodge, crunching backhand on Alpha and Mortimer. Ow. They both resist the stun, though, which is good. It's very good. Now, let's go for the Hound's Rush on this Swine Meat Hooker. They resist the bleed, but we do some good damage there. Now we can go for the Beast Bile. Get both of them.
The ground quakes.
We get the Blight and the debuff on both, and crit the Swine Tar Champion. Drums of Doom. Stresses out everybody but Mortimer. The Blight will take care of that meat hook. So now we can go for the Illumination on the Thunderer. Hits, and we get the debuff. The meat hooker is now gone. We can go for the Chop on the Swine Tar Champion, which they dodge. Blight deals some damage to them. Go for the Trot Retreat. That brings them back and puts the Swine Thunderer in front. That's fine. We'll go for the Beast Bile again. We'll crit for 3 on the Swine Tar Champion. We get the debuff and the Blight again. Now let's go for the Hound's Rush on the Thunderer. 14 damage, we get the bleed, the bleed goes off, Drums of Debilitation on Mortimer. They resist the debuff, but they get marked. They get the mark. So let's go for the Judgment here on the Swine Thunderer. Crit heal for 16 from that, and then the Blight will take care of the Thunderer. We no longer have to worry about that. So let's go for the Chop and the Swine Tar Champion. For 20 damage. The Blight does 15 damage. They go for another Trot Retreat. But they can't go any further back. So now we can go for the Target Whistle on the Swine-Tar Champion again. We get the debuff and the mark. Go for another Beast Bile. A crit for 5. Get the debuff and the Blight again.
Time to perform beyond
Bleed takes
1
care
minute.
of the Thunderer. We'll go for the Divine Grace on Mortimer. That'll heal them up. Blight does some damage. Champion. Swine-Tar Champion. Crunching Backhand. Mortimer dodges, but it does crit for 20 on Tapon. And then we'll go for the Chop. The champion
bigger
with a
the
crit for
beast,
46.
The greater the glory. Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
Alright. Take this bandage. We'll take these crests. We'll take this emerald. And that's the quest completed. We're going to continue adventuring. There's no scout from that, but we don't need it. And let's see what's in this unlocked strongbox.
Wealth beyond measure. Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
We don't need either of those. So, now we're going to move over to here. Move back a bit. And we've already explored these hallways, so we don't have to worry about the torchlight going out on us rather quickly. So we head this way. And we'll come down to here. Now, we could accelerate this process a lot by just going down here and going through this hallway battle. And now a new hallway battle has shown up. So we don't really have to worry about that as much anyway, because there's this battle we have to deal with now. So we have 2 cultist champions and a cultist witch. That's honestly not the worst thing in the world. So let's see, what do we do here? Let's go for the... Let's go for the Hound's Harry. Hit all of them and get the bleed on both of the champions. Let's go for the Manacles on the Witch. We get the stun. And we can go for the Illumination on the Witch. Get the debuff. And then let's go for the Stand. Stun goes off on the Witch. The Old Gods on Mortimer. They get the bleed and the debuff. Run for the Old Gods. Alpha, crit for 7. They get the bleed and the debuff. Alright. Let's go ahead and use a bandage on Mortimer. And we'll go for the Beast's Bile. Get the Blight and the debuff on both the Champion and the Witch. And we'll go for the Hound's Rush on the Witch. We get the lead there. Then we get the time effects, take care of the Witch. We'll go for the Judgment on this champion. Deal up to 8 from that. Bleed damages that champion. Rend for the Old Gods. Another crit for 7 on Alpha. We get the debuff and the bleed again. We'll take some damage from the bleed. Go ahead and use the bandage there. And we'll go with the Solemnity. Drop their stress a bit and heal them up. Then we get the time effects. Light and bleed on that champion. Rend for the Old Gods on Mortimer. They resist the debuff and the bleed. Now, the Blight and the bleed here will take care of this cultist champion, so we don't have to worry about them. This cultist champion, however, we do need to worry about. So let's go ahead and go for the Hound's Rush. The crit for 22. And then the Blight and the bleed take care of that.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
Alright. With that done, we'll keep moving. Move this way. Back to the entrance. Deal with the hunger just fine. We have plenty of food for that. And while we're here, we could head up this hallway and figure out what's there, but that's not really our mission. We're going to head to the secret door here. We're going to get the treasure that's there. And then the plan is to camp after we do that and then head out. So we'll head down this way to this room and head along this way. We can check on this trinket, or curio rather, and use the last of our holy water here. We could take the onyx or the busts. We're going to take the onyx. And then we'll keep going. Head to this room. No new hallway battles. We can deal with the hunger just fine, just like before. And we have enough food still to go for a feast once we start camping. So we'll head this way again. No new hallway battles. And now we've made it here. We can head up this way. Then we will douse the flame as we head into this room.
Trickery and boogeymen.
We use the skeleton key here. And then we have 3 puzzling trapezohedrons and 2 portraits. Now we can actually get rid of or swap some things out here. So we can swap our stacks of 1 stack of anti-venoms. We can fill that empty spot there. And we'll swap out these torches for a 3rd of these trapezohedrons. And that will be that. So we now have a good sum from these 3 treasures here. A good sum of gold, that is. Now we'll go ahead and start camping. Set up camp here.
Huddled together, furtive and vulnerable. Rats in a maze.
Now we'll go for the feast, heal everybody up, bring their stress down. We can go for the... we'll go for the Hound's Watch again. Must rest now, girl. Your nose must guard us tonight. And then we can go for the stress relief skills. Now, we're going to go for anger management to drop everyone else's stress by a bit. That will up Mortimer's, but only a bit. Up theirs by 20. Which is still, as of this point in time, currently pretty fine. We'll go for the encourage. Hapon. The sun always rises. Evil cannot even stall it. And then what else can we do? We'll go for the chant. Actually, no. Chant won't really do us much good here. Not really, anyway. Might as well. You know what? We'll go for the prey there. That'll de-stress everyone a bit. Now we can rest. I feel strong and powerful. Let us carry on. Perhaps we could forge some berries? No? If we work together, we can overcome this evil. There we go. Hapon's the most stressed one here. And they have 40 stress, Mortimer has 19 stress, Vidal has 16 stress, and Alpha has 5 stress. Not even really much of a problem. Now the quest is completed, so let's return to the hamlet.
Their squeals fade. Their confidence is shaken.
That went incredibly well. Nobody even got afflicted on that quest. That was amazing. A very long and difficult trek through the warrens, but an effective one. Got quite a bit of coin out of that. 27,230 coin out of that. We spent a lot upgrading the skills and weapons and armor of the heroes we sent in, and unlocking some new camping skills. But It was effective enough. And we got some heirlooms out of that as well. We got 18 deeds, 12 crests, and 3 portraits, and we have the Ancestor's Pen, which is a very powerful trinket, I would say. Extra crit and damage on melee skills will be incredibly useful in future. No one got any experience in this, but we did get some new quirks here. Alpha got Wield Scrounger in place of Natural Eye. I would rather have Natural Eye, honestly, on Alpha since they're a leper, but that's fine. Hippocratic, plus 20% healing skills, replace Warren's Adventurer. Well, Mortimer doesn't want to go to the Warrens anymore, or something along those lines, so... Or at least they're not as thrilled with the Warrens as they once were. Either way, that's fine. Imposter Syndrome, consumed by thoughts of inadequacy. That's not great. And Varal got Antsy in place of Anemic, plus 20 stress when idle in town for a week. We're probably going to have to take care of that. But we now have the funds to do so, so let's return to town. Back to the hamlet.
A fresh irritant to some. A sanguine memory to me.
Now, first things first, we head to the sanitarium. We send Alpha to the medical ward to get rid of the runs. We send Mortimer to the medical ward to get rid of the tapeworm. We send Varal to the treatment ward to get rid of Antsy. Is there anything we can get rid of for you, Pepon? Plutomania, Faithless, Unquiet Minds, Citiomania, Hagiomania. Is there anything we want to lock in? Not really. Alright. Well, that'll be it for that sanitarium then. Now, let's see. Do we have anything interesting in the Nomad Wagon? We have the Seer Stone, plus 15% scouting chance, minus 1 speed. Don't really need that. Another Padlock of Transference, Blood Charm, and Dark Bracer. Don't really need any of those. Now, let's see about the Stagecoach then. We have Bellet, an Adventurer Grave Robber, Cavalier, the Apprentice Arbalist, Bellet, or Belay, the Apprentice Highwayman, Maltravers, the Seeker Leper, Valence, the Seeker Jester, Gibbard or Gibbard, one of the two. I'm going to go with Gibbard. The Seeker Man-at-Arms, and Gornai, the Seeker Occultist. Well, in future, we're probably going to end up doing some of the Crimson Court stuff. And for that, we need lower-level heroes. And we also need lower-level heroes for the rest of the bosses. So, we should probably try to recruit one of these people. I would rather recruit... I would much rather recruit a Plague Doctor. However, I think we could probably get by with recruiting another Arbalest. That way we have someone else to put on a team with Syset and Bone Lady. However, Syset works best in the 3rd and 4th position, and Bone Lady works best in the 2nd and 3rd position, so an Arbalest actually won't be the best bet there. What about Bellet? They work best in the 2nd and 3rd position, but they can work pretty well in the 1st. And they're resilient. They're fading, but they're resilient. You can get rid of fading relatively easily, though. Yeah, we can probably take Bellet. We'll take Bellet.
Elusive, evasive, persistent. Righteous traits for a rogue.
Alright. And then with that, actually, since we have the funding for it right now, we'll send Bellet to the treatment ward and get rid of fading. I want to be a better person. If we just took them off the stagecoach and sent them to be a better person before anything else. That's great. So let's go ahead and unequip all trinkets and sort by rarity. There we go. We now have 4 ancestral trinkets. We now have the Ancestor's Candle, Scroll, Tentacle Idol, and Pen. Alright. Pen will give us better crit and damage on melee skills. very, very nice. Very happy with that. Alright. Well, that is going to go ahead and do it for this 100th episode of Darkest Dungeon. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. It is fantastic to be able to do this series and to have it go on for so long. And here's to many more episodes to come. Hopefully you are all enjoying the series, and I hope to keep making this series that you all enjoy, because I have been having a blast making it. With all its ups and downs, its twists and turns, it's been fantastic. So please, please leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to see more content like this or the other kinds of content that we put out on this channel, we're going to keep that content coming, so don't you worry about that. Hit the notification bell so you receive notifications when we upload new videos. Leave a comment on the video. It helps us out a lot. It really, really does. Also, remember to leave a comment if you want to have one of the heroes on this roster named after you. I'd love to have you guys in here on the roster to join in on the fun. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. From the bottom of my heart, I love making this series, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.